Hello y'all, it's GLS, and this is the NHL Draft Expectations. So this is all what we have to talk about today. First off, first overall selection, New York Islanders. They're gonna go Schaefer, obviously. To me, he's the best player in the draft. I've no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If he doesn't go one, these two flip-flop. Michael Misa, to me, is the obvious number 2 pick for the San Jose Sharks. And after that, it kind of goes kind of wish-washy. The Mammoth. They go James Higgins. I didn't write that very well, but they go Higgins. I think this is obviously pretty expectational. I don't know how to word that really, but it's expected. For me at least. This is their obvious pick. Nashville. They trade 8 and or 23 or 26. I think they go for the big splash, maybe Robertson. I know this is weird, but I feel like other than like everything else that they're doing, their signings with Stamkos, all of their big signings that they had recently that didn't really go to plan, I think they just kind of bite into it a little bit more with their draft capital from these top selections and maybe even possibly their next year's or some mid-round stuff, second, third round. I think Pittsburgh go D at 11 and 12. I feel like their defense needs to be bolstered up quite a bit. Their defense definitely was a problem last year with their goals that they were giving up. Obviously, goaltending was a problem too with slight injuries, bad play, soft goals, letting in beach balls all the time. But their scoring's fine. I mean, they've been part of some pretty big scoring, volatile of games over the last 2 years. Obviously, Sidney Crosby wants to stay. Evgeny Malkin maybe in his last year. We'll see. I think Montreal go deep at 16 and 17. I don't think they take the top guys at 16 and 17. They possibly could go defense 16, left or winger 17, but off the top of my head, it's obviously not the best thing to say. But I don't think Montreal takes their top guy that they have on their board. I think they go for the kind of project duo there. Don't think Cole Caulfield. Think more Moritz Seider. Young project guy. Obviously, Moritz Seider won the Calder, but project guys like Matvei Michkov, who would have stayed in Russia had he not done his little contract thing that he did. It's kind of weird, but yeah. 0 volatility until mid-rounds. I don't think, even though I have Nashville listed as trading 8 and or 23, 26, I don't think there's really any reason to believe that there's volatility. Maybe Pittsburgh trades 11 or 12, even though they literally traded for 11, or was it 12? I don't remember. They just traded for one of those two. And Montreal has had 16 and 17 for a bit. Obviously, they were 17. They had 16 from, I believe, Calgary from a specific trade. Why can I not remember? Not important. Yeah, I think Montreal would be the one to be trading. And if anything, the most volatile thing that you could obviously have would be New York trading down and capitalizing on winning the lotto. Obviously, they would be also capitalizing by taking Schaefer. But what's wrong with getting like Pittsburgh's 12 and then the next year? Montreal's 17, their pick at like 50 something or whatever, their 2nd round pick, and then the pick next year. What would be wrong with that? Obviously, they're getting 2 picks in the second round. That's high value. They could bolster their young core a lot better that way. But I just don't see it happening. I think because of the way the NHL has been versus the NBA, NBA is very high volatility because of small roster sizes. NHL, not so much. Obviously, you want that young talent. San Jose is definitely heading that way, and if they play their cards right and get lucky, they could get DuPont and Gavin McKenna at first overall, 2 years in a row. I don't think the league wants that, but that's for another time, another video. CBJ could go active in acquiring 2s and 3s, second and third round picks. This is just what I see from their kind of stance from their GM right now. They could trade a couple players, trade a few younger assets to get somewhat of a middle of the pack draft. From my perspective, maybe it's a little bit light, maybe it's a little bit deeper. That's yet to be seen, obviously, because we need to see these players play. But it's kind of a middle draft for me, and I feel like Columbus could be active in acquiring high middle round picks, and to obviously bolster their young core that they're really building around. They were almost in the playoffs this year, and they do have quite a bit of draft capital to back that up. Obviously not like an Oklahoma City Thunder type deal with St. Presti, but yeah, I feel like they could be active in doing that, but that's yet to be seen. And it's neither here nor there. Obviously, if they could, they couldn't, they don't need to. I feel like they want to keep their pieces right now to build that playoff team, but that's up to them. The last thing we have to talk about today is we expect to hear a little bit something about Atlanta or Arizona tomorrow night, the night of round 1. Obviously, we heard about Atlanta's new proposed and accepted on development there. We're yet to hear about Arizona for a little bit after they moved to Utah to become the Utah Mammoth. The camp for Arizona was very wanting to keep a team there, but since then we really haven't heard anything from them since their arena proposal got canceled, was denied by Tempe. So we'll see about that. And regardless, to see all of these things happen from the mind of someone who has no connection at all to inside sources in the NHL would be more of an interesting thing, I would say. But we shall see. I'm GLS. These are my NHL Draft Expectations, and I am not the best source for this. Bye-bye.